universe has changed and grown. So will you. Choose your fortune. Follow the path of mind, or body, nobility, or corruption. Every choice leads to a different destiny. Choose yours.
Fable 2 is a game about choice. This is not just the usual should I be a boy or a girl choice, though there is that too, but it's about lifestyle. Decisions you make affect your appearance, how people react to you, and even how your dog develops. The morality system is one of the core game mechanics. For example, when you start out as a kid, you're given a choice to either help the town's sheriff or some bandits with some missing warrants. That decision will affect the town much later on, so years later when you come back, if you helped out the bandits, everything's going to look crime-ridden and festeruous. But if you helped out the sheriff, it's actually going to be a booming economic area, and there's going to be these beautiful houses, and there's going to be shops that you wouldn't see before. The system is pretty nuanced, and there are a lot of things to consider. It ultimately comes off as kind of artificial. The idea is to get you to feel your character progressing as a person, but you don't really get that sense. Sure, there are lots of little meters and numbers popping up to tell you if you're good or bad, but it really doesn't change the big decisions you make at the end of the game.
Thanks. You're a lifesaver.
Now the expression system is a pretty good idea. It's simple enough, you just hit the right bumper, you bring up an expression wheel, you can choose from a variety of different ways to interact with people. You don't talk to people, you just give them physical gestures, so you can flip somebody off, or you can give them a little vulgar thrust, or you can beg for money, or you can give them a gift. You can do quite a lot of stuff with interacting with people, but ultimately that's an artificial device, because all you're trying to do is move the different meters for how people feel about you. So you're not so much inhabiting a role as you are just sort of trying to manipulate the system. The combat is really fun. It's a really flexible and very simple system. The X button controls your swords, the Y button controls ranged attacks, guns, and crossbows, and the B button is your magic. And it's just that simple. While it does seem like it would be a little bit limiting, there's actually a really good flow to the combat. It's very easy to move from, hacking a couple times with a sword and then whipping out your pistol and blowing the guy away, or then just casting a bunch of fireballs at people. That's what makes Fable unique, is that you're not just somebody who focuses on magic or swords or whatever. You're somebody who combines all three of these things to defeat the evil that is threatening Albion. One of Fable's big features is co-op play. Now unfortunately online co-op is not available until sometime shortly after launch, so it's not something that we could test. However, online co-op is supposed to work very similar to couch co-op. And the couch co-op mode does actually work in the review build that we have, and it is pretty disappointing. But while it is cool to play with somebody else and have them come into your world, unfortunately, the guest who comes in can only bring in their character's stats. They can't bring in their weapons, they can't bring in their character's look. So they're going to look different than they would in their own game, which sort of defeats the purpose. Now you can't go run around with each other and sort of explore what somebody else's world looks like. They can help you out, earn extra experience, you can barter over who's going to get what amount of money, and you can actually combine attacks together to get more experience, so your buddy can hit a guy with one attack and then you can shoot him and you're basically going to get a cool combo that you wouldn't normally get playing alone. Of course, you kind of want to have your character in your friend's game so they can just see how ridiculous you look. And you're not going to get that with Fable 2 co-op the way that it is. Hopefully, they patch it early on so that you can actually see what somebody else looks like. Fable 2 is not the kind of game that's going to really challenge you. But then again, it's not really supposed to. The idea is that you are one of the greatest heroes in the history of Albion, so it makes sense that by the game's end, you can pretty much mop the floor with any creature you meet. You might not even die once the entire time during the game. If you have a real tunnel vision and you just run from all the main quest missions one after the other and ignore all the other cool stuff that there is to see in the world of Albion, you could probably get through the game within 8 hours. It's not that long. but you're going to miss out on the great experience that Fable 2 has to offer. If you invest yourself in caring for your dog, for having a family, for owning businesses, then when you come to the final decisions in the game, they're actually going to matter to you and mean something to you. So the more that you put into Fable 2, the more you're going to get out of it. With some of the high-quality RPGs such as Mass Effect and Oblivion that we've seen come out on 360 in the last few years, the bar has been raised on Western RPGs, and really, Fable 2 falls a little bit short of that bar. It's still a really great game, it's a lot of fun, it's just not up to that level of quality. For the full written review, head on over to IGN.com.
Really, much appreciated.
Every story starts innocently enough. Yours is no different. Until the day the story changes, and the little that you have is taken forever. This is where the story really begins. At the path to vengeance. For every battle, a weapon. For every cause, a champion. For every soul, a price. For every choice, a different destiny. Who will you become?